Today is Wednesday, July 1st, 2026. All praises to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, forever and ever, so let it be true. Love, honor, and respect to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, to His Holy Son, Yahushai, who died for the 12 tribes of Israel, Matthew chapter 15, verse 24, Matthew chapter 10, verse 5 and 6. And double honors to the apostles of GMS, to the 4 major prophets, to the 12 minor prophets, and to the hopeful elect, the brothers, the Akim, the saints, the 144,000 who are preaching the word of God on the 4 corners of this earth, risking their lives day in and day out. Peace and blessings to my brothers, sisters, and children who are watching this video. We're on another lesson. Shalom. We'll talk about the news and we'll tie in with the scriptures. But I want to go into one scripture here. It's in the holy book of Revelations, chapter 12, verse 13. And when the dragon realized that he had been thrown down to the earth, he began to pursue the woman who had given birth to the boy, and she was given 2 wings of a large eagle in order to fly to her place in the desert, where she will be taken care of for 3.5 years, safe from the dragon's attack. And then from his mouth the dragon poured out a flood of water after the woman, so that it would carry her away. But the earth helped the woman. It opened its mouth and swallowed the water that had come from the dragon's mouth. And the dragon was furious with the woman and went off to fight against the rest of her descendants, and those who obey God's commandments and are faithful to the truth revealed by Yahushai. And the dragon stood off the seashore. So the red dragon, that's Esau, the Greco-Roman Empire. So when it says the woman, excuse me, when the dragon realized that he had thrown down, when the dragon realized that he had been thrown down to the earth, he began to pursue the woman, and the woman is Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel, and that's in the holy book of Jeremiah 6 and 2. The holy book of Jeremiah 6 and 2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. Okay, and that's talking about Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel. So it says, when the dragon realized he had been thrown down to the earth, he began to pursue the woman who had given birth to the boy, and she was given 2 wings of a large eagle in order to fly to her in the desert, where she will be taken care of for 3.5 years, safe from the dragon's attack. And then from his mouth the dragon poured out a flood of water after the woman, so that it would carry her away. But the earth helped the woman. That flood is what is gonna happen here in Jacob's trouble, okay? Because for a time that we've been here in America, the dragon, Esau, let us work, let us build our homes here, with our families, with our community. And now he's going to cut it all off. Okay? And that's why he's mad. He's always had pure hate for us. But now he's going to come full force after the 12 tribes. Okay? And when that dragon realized it, that he had been thrown down to the earth, and he began to pursue that woman, the woman was just Jacob was giving birth to the boy, Yahweh Shai. She was given the 2 wings of a large eagle in order to fly to her place in the desert. There she will be taken care of for 3.5 years, safe from the dragon's attack. And then from his mouth, the dragon poured out a flood of water after the woman. And that's going to be martial law, perimeters around the cities here in America. You're not going to be able to go into the cities. You won't be able to get out of the cities. But the earth helped the woman. It opened its mouth and swallowed the water that came from the dragon's mouth. All right? And that's us brothers with the holy book. And the dragon was furious with the woman and went off to fight. The dragon was furious with the woman and went off to fight against the rest of her descendants. And all those who obey God's commandments, that's going to be the prophets. That's going to be the prophets, the 144,000, and the great multitude of brothers, sisters, and children who obey God's commandments and are faithful to the true revealed by Yahweh Shai. And the dragon stood on the seashore. All right, remember that 3.5 years, that goes back to the 350 years from 1619 to 1969. 350 years. Okay, and then 1969 is when a lot of brothers were waking up and bringing out this truth. From 1969 to 2026, the truth has been out. Okay. If you go back to Revelations 12 and 1, the woman and the dragon. And then a great and mysterious sight appeared in the sky, and there was a woman whose dress was the sun. The woman represents Jacob, and it's twofold, the Virgin Mary, whose dress was the sun, and the sun means wisdom and the knowledge, who had the moon, which is the understanding, under her feet, a crown of 12 stars on her head, which is the 12 tribes of Israel. She was soon to give birth, and the pains and suffering of childbirth made her cry out. And another mysterious sight appeared in the sky, and there was a huge red dragon, which is the Greco-Roman Empire, with 7 heads and 10 horns, and a crown on each of his heads. With his tail he dragged the third of the stars out of the sky and threw them down to the earth. That's the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Those are the 3 powerhouse tribes. And he stood in front of the woman in order to eat her child as soon as it was being born. Who wanted Esau, Herod, those Amalekites, they wanted to slaughter the Lord. And he stood in front of the woman in order to eat the child as soon as it was born. As soon it was born. And then she gave birth to a son who will rule over all the nations with an iron rod. And that's going to be in the second coming. The Lord, Yahweh Shai, will rule the world with an iron rod. But the child was snatched away and taken to God, Yahweh, and on his throne. And the woman fled to the desert. That was 70 AD, to a place had God prepared for her, where there shall be taken care of for 1,260 days, which is one shoot after 70 AD, for a time. Then we were taken to America, where all 12 tribes are here. The majority of it, we're all over the world, but the majority of 70% of the tribes are here. Okay, you have the lost northern kingdom, the Native Americans, and then you have Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. When they came here in 1619, we were all together and carried her, taking care of her 350 years. Now the flood is coming. Okay, and the only way we're going to be saved is where it says, but the earth helped the woman. It opened its mouth and swallowed the water that came from the dragon's mouth. And that earth is the God gave us the holy book. All right, because we have this truth, and God is our fortress in these end days. Because it's going to escalate. Things are going to escalate. Okay, and it's going to get, for 2/3 of our people, they're going to be destroyed. Okay, and that's in the book of Zechariah. Let me find that scripture. Okay, not only he's cutting off Jacob, he's cutting off Esau. The only ones that are going to make it in Esau are your billionaires and your trillionaires. They're coming after Esau. They're coming for all the nations that are here in America with no mercy. But Jacob is the one that they're going to go full force because of the envy and the jealousy of the tribes that we have the covenant. But in Zechariah, 2/3 of our people, a rude awakening is coming to them. This is the holy book of Zechariah chapter 13. Let's start with verse 8, 13 and 8. And throughout the land, 2/3 of the people will die. And that's 2/3 of our people that worship the beast, worship the 666, worship the system, democracy. The girls with girls, the boys with boys. They're not offended. They don't stand up for the truth. They're in collusion with the U.S. government. They believe all the lies that Satan feeds them. They believe in the school system. They've been brainwashed, and they still love this system. They love this system of chaos. They love this system of anarchy. They love to party. They love to worship all the strange gods, idols of this land. All right, it's like July 4th that's coming up. They'll be celebrating July 4th. All the holidays, all right? Memorial Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, but they're all pagan. Okay, it has nothing to do with the holy book. All right, and they believe in the left-hand church system, and that's why he says, I will attack my people, and throughout the land 2/3 of the people will die, and I will test the third that survives, and will purify them as silver is purified by fire. I will test them as gold is tested. Then they will pray to me, and I will answer them. And when we pray in the ancient Hebrew and calling upon his ancient Hebrew name, then we'll be saved. Then they will pray to me, and I will answer them, and I will tell them that they are my people, and they will confess that I am their God. So this week, like I said, when it comes to Friday, we attack Iran, and then Monday morning, the lies come out. All right, like I said, in my next video, I'll bring it out. I'll put a lot of information together. We're just trying to prolong things. because they have satellites coming from Iran, Russia, Europe, China, and they on the satellites it shows our military going back and forth to Germany, all right, and other parts of Europe, because we're taking more military trucks, tanks. We're rounding up all the short-range missiles, Patriots that are in Eastern Europe, that are in Western Europe, and all over the world. This war is on. There is no peace. That's all lies. Remember that. That's all lies coming from the West. Okay, because if you go to Revelations 12 and 12, Satan has but a short time. So those Zionists, them Amalekites, the Prime Minister of Israel, and then you have the German Edomite, Donald Trump. All right, and I'll bring out a video too. I believe he fired over 24 generals. They're, men who have logic in their brain that bucked up against him, letting them know that this war is not going to be no walk in the park. And they told him, this is not good. We're going to lose thousands and thousands of American men in this war. If you buck up against these Zionists, because that's who's ruling that they're the puppet masters, all right. The Rothschild family, and there's an order. They have people like the Prime Minister. They have all these Zionists, all these AIPAC, all these people that have billions of dollars that own their politicians. All right, they want war, so they're gonna find generals that are just gonna bow down to their word. Okay, they're gonna find the guys that say yes, get on their knees, and take care of to push on and continue this war on Iran. All right, this war is happening, and anybody that bucks up, they're gone. They fire them. All right, and I'm going to bring out that information out in the next few days. Okay, but this war is on. There is no peace. So on Monday, he comes out. This is the lies that comes out of his mouth, out of the Donald Trump, the government, the Zionist wicked system. Trump says Iran has requested a meeting. Every Monday this happens. And people, if you read the comments, people are saying this is like the 80th time. It's been going 4 months now, every week. All right. They're mocking the Pentagon, they're mocking Donald Trump. People know that this is all bull. Okay? But the lies are but there's people out there that really believe everything he says. All right? But Trump says Iran has requested a meeting as U.S. attempts to preserve peace deal. And he always has that arrogance, saying that Iran is begging for peace. Like if they got a beatdown, when it's the opposite. The United States got the beatdown. Our military, all right, they mock our military, especially our Air Force. All right, they show pictures, like a cartoon picture of our Air Force beat up and with bandages, walking with a walker. All right, because our Air Force got hit, our bases got hit. They destroyed a lot of planes, and there's probably more than what they're saying. Okay, and I believe today another helicopter was hit in the Persian Gulf. Okay, every time we attack, they attack harder. All right. So he says Trump says Iran has requested a meeting as U.S. attempts to preserve peace deal. Donald Trump is actively manipulating the stock market and the global oil markets with his statements, and the media won't call it out. Of course, the media ain't going to call it out because they're controlled. They're owned by these Zionists, by these Amalekites. All right, remember, they're not from the tribe of Judah. They're the Amalekites, the grandson of Esau. All right, and they control the media. They control ABC, CBS, Fox News. They control both sides. Okay, so go on. How it works? It says they manipulating the stock market and the global oil market with his statements, and the media won't call it out. How it works: corporations make billions from insider trading, and is classified as market manipulation. These illegal, deceptive practices distort the free market to enrich a select few at the expense of everyday investors. Iran rejects the meeting. The same day when he was saying there was going to be a meeting, the Iran government says it's all lies. This is all lies. Okay? But Americans, like I said, I call Americans dumb and dumber. Go watch that movie. Dumb and Dumber. That's your average American. They believe anything, everything. There's just a small group of people waking up. All right? Iran rejects meeting. Tehran. Iran has firmly rejected U.S. President Donald Trump's claim that talks with American officials were planned in Doha, Qatar, stating that no meeting with the United States are scheduled at any level in the coming days. Tehran dismissed the suggestion as inaccurate, stressing that it has not agreed to any such diplomatic engagement. All right, so it's all lies. This is every week. Like I said, they're building up. We're going to war. All right? Could be the middle of July, August. There's going to be a ground war. Tens of thousands of American soldiers are about to face death. All right? They're days and weeks from going to the world of the dead, to the spirit world. All right? And these Zionists, they don't care about the Marines, the Army. And like I said, a draft is coming. We're living in the days of chaos, world war, famine, disease, the bubonic plague. All this is all coming together at the same time, and things are moving fast. But there's going to be a ground war. There ain't no peace. All right? There is no peace. And if it gets to the critical point, and Iran starts killing all of our men, which we're going to go back to Isaiah 13, because I did that video a couple of days back. I wasn't even finished with it, but it was already going close to 2 hours. But we might touch a little bit. There's a little bit more on it, but they're according to the Holy Book, they're going to kill hundreds of thousands of our men. All right, this is the last war. But the ground war is coming. So now we're going to talk about the U.S. economy, and this is a few here that I wrote down. Okay, there's more that's happening, and like I said, the United States and our press, they're not bringing out the whole truth. This is on a. There's so many people losing their jobs. It's unbelievable. And not only that, they're lying about the drought too. From the Colorado River to the reservoirs, it's worse than you can imagine. Okay, all those people that I told you out there in the Southwest, out there, and they're gonna have to flee. Okay, they're gonna have to flee for their lives because the water they're running out, and it's, they're saying you have people high in government that says, oh, that's going to be 10, 15 years, we'll worry about it then. No, we're talking about 12, 24, 36 months. That's how fast things are moving. Okay? And this El Nino, certain parts of the country is going to get us flooding, and then certain parts of the country, especially the Midwest and the Southwest. Southwest is the driest. All right, it's going to get bad in the Southwest. All right, and it's been hot here at 90s. It's real dry, and the fires are breaking out everywhere. Okay, especially out here in southern Colorado, fires are breaking out. All right, and it's been very, like grayish, hazy. You can even smell the smoke. Okay, so things ain't looking good. Like I said, God is it's called warp speed. Things are moving quickly. So you brothers and sisters, you got to get your house in order. You got to buy more coconut, water, get a lot of 5-gallon waters, a lot of cans of olive oil and sardines and tuna. Get ready, a lot of beans, lentils. Like today I made me some lentils with chicken early in the morning. Put the water in there, I seasoned it up with oregano, garlic. What else did I put in there? I put some curry in there, ground pepper, olive oil. I love making my soups and salads every single day. But let's go with these layoffs. Mass layoffs are happening. Like I said, man, they're going to sacrifice the American people and the world. This is in Alabama, the city of Tuscaloosa. It's a plant in Alabama closing 1,200 employees to lose their jobs. Tuscaloosa. Yeah. Never been there. Never even heard of this city. Devastating closure of Tuscaloosa B.F. Goodrich plant. Michelin North American is gradually shutting down the Tuscaloosa tire plant, which has anchored the local economy since 1946, slated to fully close by the end of 2028. So it's going to, like every 6 months, there are a few hundred, are going to be laid off. All right, but they're saying it'll be at the end of 2028 where the whole place is just shut down. All right, they're saying right now 1,200 jobs are gone. Local officials are scrambling to help impacted families to mitigate the broader economic fallout. Uncertainty. You got to remember, a lot of these towns are getting smashed. All right, not just with these manufacturing. You have you had a lot of hospitals that shut down. All right, because like I said, they cut Medicaid, and just watched a recent video talking about Social Security, how they're going to be knocking off. It looks like $300 to $500. They're going to slash. All right, and it's the time is coming. I think it's going to happen within 3 years. They're not going to get nothing. All right, you're on your own. Okay, you're on your own. Like when I was reading in the Holy Book of Revelation, chapter 12, the dragon is no longer going to feed the people. All right, the flood is coming. They're going to cut all social services, SSI, Medicare, Medicaid. Everything's going to get cut. All right, but Jake is going to get hit hard. Okay, because with all these job losses, they're going to keep a few of their own over the tribes. You tribes you're marked for death. Okay, especially if like I said, the corporations, they know who the real Israelites are. All right, your regular people out here, people are learning the truth, but people are still in the dark. But they're going to take care of their own over the tribes. The tribes, they're going to lose. They're going to get hit hard. All right. But if you're in this truth and you know what's happening and you obey God and you worship God 100%, God's going to be a fortress during this time. God says that His prophets and His servants will eat in these times, these evil times that are here and fast approaching, with more and more evil that's coming to this land. So here in these towns are getting smashed, and these are people that have, they're small cities of 5,000, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, and when a plant like this goes down, it affects everybody in that town. Okay, I don't know how many people live here in this area. We could look it up. Can you give me the population of Tuscaloosa, Alabama?
The population of Tuscaloosa, Alabama is about 114,288. The Tuscaloosa Metropolitan Statistical Area has a population of around 281,850 people.
All right, so it's in the town of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, the closure of Goodrich plant. How bad is it going to be for that small town to be losing this
The
tire
Goodrich
plant?
plant closure in Tuscaloosa will be a major economic problem. The shutdown, ending in 2028, will cost roughly 1,200 jobs and take about $40 million in local revenue, which is a big financial blow to the community.
So it says approximately 40 million in local revenue, dealing a heavy financial hit to the community. Yeah, and what happens is, and that it's been there since 1946, this factory. So there's a few generations of people that have worked at this factory. And this is what people don't understand. Many don't understand how revenue and how these cities, they depend on that revenue for the police, for the fire, okay, for parks and recreation. When that money doesn't come in no more, they're going after your property. All right, your property taxes are gonna go up. That's why all your major cities here in America, they're in the red, because every downtown, half them buildings are empty after 2020. All right, because you had a lot of people that were working at home. All right, and the buildings now are empty. More than half of them. All your major cities, they're all in the red, and all these towns, they're going to get hit hard. So a town, it's a small city of a little over 100,000. That's not that many people that live there.
The bleeding happens because
So it says right here, local officials are scrambling to help impacted families. And to mitigate the broader economic fallout, uncertainty. And that's what happens when you right now, this is bringing a lot of stress to these families. We're going to get into more places that are, this is just, there's many that are laying off, okay? So there's 1,200 people here that have families, that have wives, children, and now they're gonna, that uncertainty of not knowing the future and the worries or in the stress. Are we gonna stay in this town? Should we sell our home now and move somewhere else? What's gonna happen? And you see, if you go and look up videos, all these people that are graduating college can't find jobs. And they can't even get, They can't even get hired at McDonald's, Burger King, Popeyes. All right, fast food. A lot of people, they're not even, they can't even afford fast food. You're going to see all these fast food restaurants are all going to close because of hyperinflation. Okay, you still have people. You still have people out there still spending, but most of them are spending their credit cards, and that's going to stop. All right, because they're going to start shutting down these credit cards. All right, but these people, that uncertainty that happens when you find out that the place that you've been working for 10, 15, 20 years is closing. The plant employs generations of West Alabama workers. The job losses will hit families hard. Economic shock and a massive blow to the local tax base and working middle class. Of course, it's a massive blow to the local tax base. All right, and a lot of these people are going to try to sell their houses, but who's going to buy these houses? Like right now, the housing market is crashing. You might have some areas that are going good, and they're saying from the 700,000 bracket on up, houses are, these are people that are upper class and $1 million homes, they're still selling. But anything under the 700,000, they're sitting on the market for 90, 150 days. And then with all these layoffs, how are people going to be buying these houses? And then all the people that already have a mortgage, they're thinking, well, how are we going to pay this if I lost my job? And some of these small towns, you have the husband and the wife that work at the plant, so that's a double blow if you have two working at the same plant. Like I said, hard times is coming. So it's going to be an economic shock, a massive blow to the local tax base. Yes, with all these people, and a lot of these people they're not going to be able to sell their home, because who's going to move into these small towns and these major plants, these manufacturing places are closing. Who's going to move there? Who's going to buy the house if these small towns, like I said, towns of 25, 50, 100,000, when they start losing all this, businesses will start closing. When these big plants close, there goes your businesses, there goes your tax revenue, and then the remaining people that do have jobs are going to hit you hard with taxes. All right, it's going to be a dominoes effect. Now we're going to go to Lucid Motors lays off hundreds in Casa Grande, Arizona. Families and local businesses brace for fallout. The entire city will be devastated. They promise more jobs. Lucid sales plummet. Worker layoffs. Still in shock. Casa Grande feels impact after Lucid Motors layoffs. Casa Grande, Arizona. Lucid announced it is cutting 18% of its workforce across the board. This is just the beginning. All right, because all these car dealerships are hurting right now. Because you got cars that are going for 75,000, 90,000, 120,000. You have to be out of your mind to buy a brand new car here in America. Especially if you're if you're only making 50, 70, $100,000 a year. I mean, you're out of your mind. And most Americans are out of their mind. And that's why a lot of them, they stop paying on their car loans. All right. There's repos. Cars are getting repoed. I mean, it's the highest ever. All right. And this is the reports that are coming out. What I watch videos, and I watch videos on guys that own these car lots in there, and they said it's slow, it's bad. All right. Most people can't even come up with they can't even come up with $1,000 or $2,000 for a down payment. It says across the board, 705 employees there were laid off. Every time we were holding our breath, we're still in shock, and we have to figure out how we're going to pay our mortgage, get health insurance again, because that when you lose your job, yeah, you have it for a few months, and then you lose it. All right, and that's going through the roof. All right, most people can't even afford health insurance. The ripple effects will extend beyond the plant. We're not the only ones affected by it, she said. It will impact small businesses. It will impact the entire community. All right. Oracle confirms 21,000 layoffs due to AI. Says more job cuts may happen. This is just the beginning. They said 21,000 and more to come. Oracle cuts 21,000 jobs as it embraces artificial intelligence. The significant workforce reduction at Oracle. The shift is part of an industry-wide transition driven by AI adoption, with many tech companies now treating AI as an employee rather than just a tool. The scale of change. Oracle spent $1.84 billion on severance and exit costs. So they're giving these people the boot. They're giving them severance, but money runs out quick. Right? A lot of the severance, you might be good for 6 months, and it's going to run out. You see how fast these days. Look, we're in July. In 10 days, we're going to be in August, because that's how fast this is moving. 1 month is like 10 days. All right, you pay your electricity bill, and then within 10 days, the bill comes right back. All right, water bills, your health insurance, groceries. All right, your mortgage, your rent, your car loan. Credit cards are always due. They move like that. You pay it, and then it's just a few days, it comes right back. These days are moving quick. Okay, there's right now, it's July 1st. You have people that are panicking right now. They can't even believe it's July 1st. And it's time to pay that rent, to pay that mortgage, to pay that car loan. All right? But they're giving the severance, and that's what they're doing to UPS, FedEx, all of them. They're trying to buy out these truckers, offering them 50,000, 70,000. That's nothing. 50,000, 70,000. But you bet if they offer you it, take it. But a lot of these people, they can't. They're not using their brain. Okay, they're thinking they have these $100,000 jobs. A lot of these guys that work for UPS, FedEx, they do make good money, but $100,000 a year is not. That was good 15 years ago, but it's still good in this bad economy. Their thinking is they don't want to take that 50 or 70,000 because they're making 100,000 plus. But what they don't understand is they're just going to fire them. They're going to find something to fire them, and they're not going to get nothing. And they're not going to find. It's going to be hard to find another job. But if they take that money and maybe start a small business or do something with it, buy gold and silver with it, they're going to be better off than getting nothing. And right now, and I'm going to bring a video on that about the mass layoffs and how these corporations. Hold on real quick now. Have something I type things in, and I'll leave it in my phone. Let me see here, and I want to bring a whole video on this. So things are happening so fast, though. Like I said, I can't even keep up with this stuff. But this is all planned for the top. Okay. Like all these guys that work at UPS, they might find it if they're lucky to find another driving job. They're never going to find another $100,000 driving salary of making $100,000 a year. That they do find a place to work, to drive, what was I gonna say? It ain't gonna be no 100,000. They might get paid $30,000 a year. That the good times are over. Let's put it that way. And there's another one I want. See, I put this stuff down so I could. There's so many things going on, so I can remember to bring out in my videos. There's another one I want to bring out. It's called how millions of Americans got tricked into using a bank that isn't a bank. There's all these loopholes, and only these elites know how to scam you, and these people don't get arrested. And the U.S. government protects these corporate CEO demons that start these companies. So there's these evil, wicked men that start. They how would I say it? They set up a bank. You think it's a bank, but it's not really a bank. You send them the money, and I'm going to bring a whole video on this. I'm going to take a couple days to put this together. And they offer you like all this. They're going to give you a lot of interest if you put money into this bank, and they can never get it out. Okay, so how millions of Americans got tricked into using a bank that isn't a bank. What they're doing is they're resetting the job market. Oh, this is going into the other thing I was going to bring out about the corporations. This is separate from the bank thing, but I'm going to bring out that video out. That people put 50, 100,000, 200,000 into this fake bank, and they can't get their money back out, and it looks like they're never going to get their money. All right, and this is all, like I said, that these billionaires, they find ways to scam the American people, and no one's getting arrested. Okay, you won't believe this story, but like I said, I'm going to do a whole video on it. But going back to these the corporate world and these billionaires and trillionaires, what they're doing to the corporations, what they're doing is they're resetting the job market so that all of you will start accepting roles and jobs and salaries you would have previously laughed at. This is not a technology issue, this is a greed issue. And while AI is taking jobs, and it is, they're taking tens and tens of thousands of jobs, the big picture is what's happening on a wide scale. Corporation layoffs to cut costs help their stock signals to investors that they are investing in artificial intelligence and getting efficient gains. They're on top, that they're on the up and up with the future of AI. When the corporations start hiring again, you will be paid minimum wage, and that's how they're setting this all up. They're getting rid of a lot of people, and if they ever do call you back, say you're making 150,000, 200,000, you're only going to be offered maybe 40 grand a year. You're going to be making minimum wage. That's what they're doing. All right, that's the purge, and people don't understand it. They don't see the picture, and I don't think these people are even going to get recalled. They're going to get rid of all these people that are in their 40s and 50s. Once you hit 40, you're old. Shit. If you're in your 30s, they're going to get rid of you. All right? They're going to be hiring people that are just going to want minimum wage. And then some of these people are going to do a lot of illegal practices. And they're going to tell you that, say the minimum wage, like here in Colorado, I think it's like 18, close to $19 an hour. We're one of the highest cities that pay the highest. I know it's California and Colorado. There's still people that are minimum wage. There's a bunch of states, it could be 20 states, that only pay $7 an hour. I'll look it up. How many states in the United States pay minimum wage of $7?
However, 20 states fall below minimum wage, which is $7
So there's no $7. It's $7.25. So it says no state in the there's no state in the United States pays a minimum wage of exactly $7, but 20 states. This is the shock, because I was shocked when I seen this. $7. Oh, excuse me, $7.25. Who can live on that? And it says 20 states, but 20 states adhere to the federal baseline of $7.25 per hour. These 20 states rely on the U.S. Department of Labor federal baseline because they either have no state minimum wage law or have state laws that set the rate below the federal floor. So you have Alabama, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, New Hampshire, North Carolina, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. What a shame. That's just crazy. That's crazy. $7. Here, let me see what Denver's minimum wage. What's the minimum wage here in the city of Denver?
The minimum wage in Denver is currently $19.29 per hour.
So it went over, because last year was 18 something. It's $19.29. And people making minimum wage here in Denver are practically homeless. Okay, you have a lot of people that are living in their cars. $19, you can't even live. All right, you're gonna have to have 2 jobs making $19 an hour just to barely scrape by. That $7 thing, $7.25. What a shame. I mean, that's as bad. Even if some of these states, the houses up there, 300,000, that's just ridiculous. $7. People in Denver are getting paid 3 times that amount, and they're barely scraping by. All right, this whole thing just needs to be purged. This whole thing. This like I said, it's going to get bad out here. It's going to get bad. But going back to Oracle, 21,000 jobs. How they're embracing artificial intelligence. Like I said, all the soft jobs are gone. All right, the only jobs that are going to be out there are going to be handyman jobs, plumbers, roofers, anything with construction. What's that other one that they're going to need? Welders. All right, any type of handyman. If you know how to, you'll be able to eat. You might still be living in your car, a van, or truck, but you'll be able to eat. All right, these soft jobs and office jobs, those jobs are gone. All right, they're gone. Even the jobs at the hospitals are going to be gone. A lot of the jobs are going to be done. All right, because I watched one video. A guy went to his local hospital. He said there was no one at the front desk no more. They have like a machine that you go up with your card, your health insurance, and you put the card in there. It sets up the time and whatever. That's what's happening. And then teachers, they're getting rid of teachers in thousands and tens of thousands. I mean, like I said, the purge is here. All right. It says they did the severance, $70 billion investment. The corporate company, invested $70 billion. All right, so they paid out close to $2 billion in severance, and showed them the exit. Like I said, those people, they might have 6 months to a year of severance to get by for a little bit, but you see how fast these years. We're already halfway through 2026. This 6 months, we thought the first 6 months of 2026 was bad. This is going to be wild. The next 6 months, put your seatbelt on. All right, and then when we enter 2027, 28, 29, and 30, 4 years is going to be. It's been bad the last few years, but this is on a whole different level. Millions of people are no longer going to be on this earth, and it's going to come when that war escalates in Iran, in the Middle East. We're talking about 1 billion people leaving this earth, and then there's a time where there's over 2 billion people are going to die, and this is in the coming years here. Okay, 70 billion they invested in AI and data centers. And you see all these data centers. The data centers are to track you. All right, this is on an evil. What's that word I'm looking for? Sinister. This is like this has been planned not to only wipe out American people, but the world. All right. And like I told you, who owns those corporations? The Rothschilds, all their descendants. All right, their CEOs, that's their pit bulls. All right, and they're the pit bull, the CEO is to they're ruthless. They don't care about your family. They don't care about your kids ever eat. Your government don't care about you. You're on your own. All right, that's why they have a shadow ban. Okay, that's why no one can. Very few people can see these videos, man. And it's going to be a time where you're not going to see me no more. All these brothers, all our things are going to be. That's coming probably within months. All right, it'd be almost a miracle if we make it, and the videos are still out there in 2027 and 2028. There's going to be a time. There's going to be a lack of bread. It's talking about us bringing out this truth. All right, but you have brothers in every state. Mostly every city, we're out here preaching the word of God. Okay, but things ain't looking good. All right, so they invested 70 billion in AI and data centers. The layoffs are broad, affecting Oracle. The people that that lost their jobs were in the health sector, sales, customer service, cloud operations, NetSuite, support, and various management levels. Like I said, all those office jobs, you women are going to get really hit hard. Like I said, only jobs are going to be left are physical, hard labor. All them soft jobs are gone. Goodyear and Fayetteville, 1,700 workers laid off at Goodyear by Trump's tariffs and Iran war. Goodyear announced plans to close its manufacturing facility in Fayetteville, North Carolina, resulting in the loss of approximately 1,700 hourly and salary jobs. The company plans to completely end site operations by December 2027. The closure is driven by several economic factors. In the Middle East conflict, the war in Iran and resulting disruptions in the Middle East have caused significant inflation in raw materials cost, notably for synthetic and natural rubber inputs derived from oil. Uncertainty and anxiety are growing for families in Cumberland County after Goodyear announced plans to close its tire plant. Worker anxiety. Families are struggling with the lack of clear timeline for the closure and the resulting strain on their mental health as they face the prospect of starting over. All right, that's reality for people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, starting over. And I see these videos of men and women that have worked 20, 30 years, and they thought they were going to retire at these businesses, at these corporations, at these plants, and now they're fired. They've been laid off. They're fired. And who's going to hire a 35-year-old, a 39-year-old, a 44, or a 51-year-old? It's not going to happen, right? And then your little driving jobs, these Uber, all these. I can't even think of all these. Hub Grubs or whatever they're called, because I don't order from these places. My youngest son, sometimes he orders things. What's all these Hub Grub? What's all the delivery, car delivery? What's all the companies, corporations that run these companies? Like I said, I make my own
The
food.
main food delivery companies in the U.S. are DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. DoorDash is publicly traded, Uber Eats is owned by Uber Technologies, and Grubhub is owned by Wonder Group. These companies all use independent contractors with their own vehicles for deliveries.
All right, so there you go. People, I'm watching videos on this now. They're squeezing them. They're making people drive 30 miles to deliver something that's $3 or $4. All right, it's not worth it. I see these videos and people they're quitting. They can't do it with gas going up. Gas was going down, but now it's going up. I noticed the last few days, gas has went up another 30, 50 cents here in Denver, and that's running out. Like I said, we use all our reserves. We're in big trouble. America is in big trouble. Same thing with Europe. Europe is in big trouble. All right, Australia, Canada. All right, the whole world's going to get it. But a lot of those third world countries, they live like off of farms. They can eat off their land. All right, and they eat like they're more stronger people. The third world countries. I see them doing better than the people here in America. American people are spoiled rotten. Spoiled rotten. All right, and they're gonna find out. People are finding out. I see so many videos. People are like, they're getting burnt out. Their mental health is in the gutter. People are losing it. And it's just going to get worse. But these people are weak here in America. All right, they never had it hard, but they're about to find out. The next few years, they're going to find out. It's going to make 1929 look like a cakewalk. The 1930s like a blueberry farm, and you had people out there begging, holding signs. I just need a job. I'll do anything for a job. This is 1930s. All right, this is going to be worse than the 1930s. All right, hope all you brothers and sisters. There's more I want to bring out, but it's starting. It's probably over an hour right now. I know some people they can't. It's too long for them to study or to watch. But I'm going to bring out more. Hope all you brothers and sisters were edified. Get your house in order. This is serious. This is serious, man. There's so many things are happening, man. People are getting conned. They're being, they're losing everything, right? They're losing everything. But the good thing is, if you know this truth, just be prepared and got to be mentally, physically, and spiritually strong in this truth. All right, to endure these times that we're entering. Evil times are here, and but if you have faith and you have faith, hope, and you call upon the Son, Yahweh Shai, that's his ancient Hebrew name. He is the deliverer of his people. All right, pray to the Son and send them prayers to the Father, Yahweh. It has to go to the Son. He'll take it to the Father for protection. Pray for your family. Pray for your children. Pray for everybody that you love for this protection. All right, because evil is here, man. I can feel it. All right, brothers and sisters. Most High willing, I'll be here tomorrow.